And so like I said, my first semester, I ain't gonna lie, I was out of here. I was about to be done. I got 2 C's and an F, and I really didn't think it was for me. Granted, like I say, it had been several years since I had been in school, and it wasn't so much that the coursework was hard, it was really just trying to get back acclimated to being a student. As soon as I was really making that decision to kind of drop a class towards the end, Miss Marilyn Sullivan, she was like, just stay with it. You know, that was kind of, it's really was my anchor throughout the whole time I was in school.
I actually got a hold of the actual campus, the red campus line, and there was no problem. Answered, got the information I needed, was able to speak with an advisor, but then when I actually went in person and I met Sal, he was just really cool and excited and helped me get some things set up and led me to the computer and told me the classes to sit down and watch because there was like some introduction thing. And
had a great experience with advising with Shannon Escobar. She was amazing, and I came in super prepared. I had all my papers to petition to come back to the school, all in like a file folder and stuff. And she looked at it and was like, "This presentation is so amazing that I know that you're ready to come back. Let's do this."
Some of the things you come into this not knowing what to expect. Even re-entering from being a previous student and coming back as a full adult, it was still a challenge because you kind of lose the perspective and the know-how of what the process looks like. But it's like they're not judging you for not knowing. It's more or less just making sure you're, okay, no problem. Let me show you what you're gonna need. Could you tell me your student ID and I can look up your classes for you? That process was not exactly ironed out back when I attended in 2004 to current, where it's like you can do it over the phone virtually, put in your student ID number and pick up whichever store you want to use for the location, and it'll cite the books that you need and everything. I think that's very helpful.
The multicultural office with Robert Reyes. He started a program called Men of Distinction. That program has truly changed my life. Robert Reyes would always give all of us like an opportunity for something. And, you know, based off of what we would tell him, like I always wanted to get better at public speaking or being in front of a camera or just in general with communication. And one time he made me speak in front of like elementary school or like middle school. It was mixed. It was a mixed crowd, I believe. And they recorded me and I was freezing, like I didn't know what to say, and like they recorded everything, and now every time certain staff members see me, they laugh because it's like they remember my first speech and now they look at how I do the speeches now, how I talk in front of the public, and they're like, you have changed a lot, like you have improved.
But as I started doing things over in the fashion program, getting officer positions, that started giving me a little bit of looks over here in the main campus for the different programs that they offered. So Shanae Moore with the Office of Student Life, she had an opportunity to go to a leadership conference that they hold in Orlando, based off of a scholarship and a little paper I had turned in for another program. I didn't get accepted for it, but she read my reviews and she read some of the recommendations from a couple of the teachers. And based off of that, she called them up and invited me to go on this leadership program. And from there, that's really what started me on the path that I'm on now. It kind of was my big affirmation, you know, like not only did I turn around my schoolwork, I also started being involved in extracurriculars, which I didn't do. So Office of Student Life was my big support system on the main campus.
So I had Chandi Hidikula. He's the program coordinator for El Centro's respiratory program. He's also a clinic instructor. He's a classroom instructor, so he kind of does it all. And he definitely is like, he takes your success and it's like a personal thing for him. Like he makes it his success. And he really took time to like break down the content in a way that we could understand. Because some of the things we were dealing with were like difficult concepts, and our program is expedited. So it's a 13-month program, but it's supposed to be 2 years, it's just crammed, and so our classes were very fast-paced. And so that was really helpful to have that extra guidance.
Another professor that had a huge impact on me was Professor Brown, Cindy Brown, the government. Just the fact that she was able to relate to some of the students, or at least have an open mind to where she understood all sides, all perspectives. She never stopped and said, "You're wrong." She was always like, "Well, think about it this way."
My humanities professor for 1302, her name is Vanessa Taylor Mercado. She had a very interesting selection for her syllabus. First time I took humanities was actually with El Centro, fresh out of high school, with this particular school. I actually received a grade of 100, like flat 100, and it was interesting to say the least, because I was expecting the same experience, and then to get in her class and she has all these selected events that she wants us to venture out to, such as going to go see plays, which would involve you being a part of the community, which would allow you to see into other people's lives in a different view. I went ahead and did it, and I completed it, and I feel more well-rounded, not only as an individual, but as a healthcare professional because of her class.
First semester here, I took a human development course with Serena Davenport, and she is a teacher at a bunch of other schools, but she was teaching just that class here. And you know, she's a single mom, and just like, I'm not a single mom, but just seeing her like have the drive to want to help people and actually like, you know, do all of these different things to help the school, even though she doesn't have any other connections here, just really helped me. And to be in a classroom with a bunch of people who are in the same situation as I was, that were, you know, trying to come back and do the right thing, it was just a really positive experience for me, and that set everything else in place for me to come back here and do a good job.
I missed my very first day of class, like with no intention at all. I'm messaging my professor, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm sorry. Like, I really wish I could be there, but I'm doing this," and I explained the situation. And she asked questions about it, but then she was super understanding about it, and also like willing to like meet with me and ask if I could come in other times so she can go over whatever it was I missed. And so that was like just awesome, because that wasn't a place I expected to be, but ended up, and she was able to just like walk me through it, and also saw what I didn't see in it. And
Majority of my time here was spent in the Allied Health building, the Paramount building. And so I feel like in that building, all the programs are small groups, and it's very competitive. And once you're in the program, they know how difficult it is, so they try to help you as much as possible.